Well, Merry Christmas from Tarot for Our Times. Sarah, your medium on the go. I'm actually recording this on Christmas Eve, but it's likely you're going to be seeing this on Christmas morning. So, as usual, everybody's giving their Christmas messages. And the movie, I immediately think of that movie, The Man Who Came to Dinner, and his Christmas message. But I'll get to that in a minute. Because tonight is about Christmas amongst the chaos. So before I forget, as the death card keeps chugging along there, I do need to pull my secondary card for the theme of this tonight before I do the reading. Okay, so we have, the High Priestess. High Priestess in reverse with all the deep, dirty secrets that are, she's in reverse. They come spilling out. Okay, well, isn't that interesting? I'll be getting to that momentarily. But, as I was thinking about doing a Christmas theme for tonight, basically, I'm not much into the traditions anymore since everybody's grown up and all this sort of thing. But today I was out and about. I had a doctor's appointment just to check up this morning, and then that meant that I went out and did some errands. Got gas and that sort of thing. And the thing I kind of like, or I do like about this, is that, at the Allegheny Health Pavilion in Wexford, everybody was wishing everybody Merry Christmas, and the same when I went down to the waterfront and did my errands, and it was kind of like very cheerful. And I was thinking, that's so simple. And then kind of like once you give up all the craziness with the gifts and the this and the that and all that stuff that wears you out, just walking around wishing people Merry Christmas, that's the fun part of it. It's like you forget about everything else and really get into the feeling. It's just another winter solstice celebration holiday. But I do want to talk about because I was kidding to myself, I'm going to be Sheridan Whiteside with the Christmas address, and he's the main character in The Man Who Came to Dinner, which is funny because I'd like to see when it was released. It was released 84 years ago tonight. It was released on Christmas Eve of 1941. And this is they're very important historically, but it's a very funny, fast-paced movie. It just, you wind it up and boy, it just keeps going. And it's basically about a snobby radio commentator. I guess today he'd have his own YouTube channel with podcasts, but that's the 1940s version. Kind of snobby. He's going to Ohio to do a lecture for some ladies club, and he slips on the ice of the house that's hosting him. So in order to avoid the lawsuit, they host him for the Christmas holidays, and he's in the wheelchair and everything. And everybody in the world is sending him very bizarre Christmas presents like an octopus and penguins, and there's just one character after the other coming into this whole thing. So he broadcasts his Christmas address from this house, and meanwhile he's pretty much interfered in a lot of people's lives. His secretary, he interfered in her romance, Betty Davis, and she's going to quit anyway. So, and the people that he's staying with are very pissed off because he interfered with the kids and all. It's all this, and he's got people coming in. It's all this chaos. So you have him on Christmas Eve sitting in front of the microphone. They even have the boys' choir singing Silent Night or something like that. And all of this stuff is going on. The family is going nuts in the background. He's got penguins walking all over the place. And yet he's giving this lovely Christmas address. And I was thinking, you know what? This Christmas is a lot like that, because after the smiles and the Merry Christmases, I came home and opened up the laptop to see what was going on in the YouTubeosphere, and it was like, whoa. I mean, there's more. Let's see. There's more Epstein coming up. I mean, to say we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg would be an understatement. Then you've got all the Epstein stuff. Then you've got him sundowning, and he wants to invade Greenland again. And, you know, the Epstein thing it's taking on a whole life of its own. The Supreme Court said no. Surprise, that surprised me. No, you cannot use the military as your personal police force. Jack Smith is coming out and, you know, he's telling it like it is about what happened on January 6th. So, you know, so amidst all this chaos, we have the, you know, Merry Christmas, Good Cheer, and Turner Classic is doing its Christmas marathon. I saw The Bishop's Wife, which is kind of a nice, quirky movie with Cary Grant as an angel. At any rate, I want to get back to when The Man Who Came to Dinner was released in, as I said, Christmas Eve, 1941. And this was just weeks after Pearl Harbor was bombed. And I think by this time, you know, we had declared war on Japan, and Germany had declared war on us. The draft boards must have been going nuts. Young guys were probably getting their families upset by going to, you know, join the military over the Christmas holiday. So I would say the big cities got this, or probably before 1942 came in. The smaller towns probably didn't see this until the Man Who Came to Dinner till after New Year's. So in a sense, this movie be going on behind the scenes of this wonderful escapism movie was chaos, with families being disruptive, mothers sending their sons off to war, and all this crazy stuff going on. So I'm thinking maybe times really haven't changed that much. So, I mean, we can talk about peace on earth and goodwill to men, but there is hardly any of that going on, because I'm telling you, when I looked at all of this, it was like, wow, you would think that, because usually by about this time, things have, you know, kind of faded off into the background, and you know, maybe there's a natural disaster halfway around the world, but it was just all this unfolding drama, and yet you could just go out or have people in and forget about it for a while, but it's still there. And so what this is telling me is that New Year's is leaving, the year is ending in absolute chaos. I think we might have a little bit of a break tomorrow, but I don't think much of one. But the thing is that the whole thing is that all these things that they tried to cover up are coming out now. And they never learn. When you try to do that on such a big scale, people's imaginations are going to go crazy, and they're only making things worse. I did hear, and I will not repeat it, babe. You can go, I can't remember who put it out. It wasn't Midas Touch. It was one of the others. And it's saying, Epstein, it's worse than you think. And I thought, you know what? I've heard it all. I know it's awful and appalling. I don't think anything's going to shock me. I mean, I was shocked. Okay, I was shocked. I won't repeat the stuff, but it was worse for those girls and probably boys than we could imagine. And all it's like to me, I was kind of thinking of the high priestess, especially in reverse. And so, a lot of these women are coming out, and they are. I'm waiting for the guys to come out. I'm telling you. And the thing is that I said that someone's going to spill this, and someone has, and it's like the dam has burst open. So, what am I going to read on? Okay, so I think the one thing is, how do we deal with all of this chaos? We can't completely escape it. We can take a little bit of a time off, but it's going to be, it's probably going to be the conversation at many dinners tomorrow. I won't be doing that because my brother and sister-in-law have gotten nasty case of the flu. So, and during COVID, I was pretty much used to, not really doing anything, just watch some good movies. And so the thing is that I think what I'm getting out of all of this, people are really fed up. Now, I have said that when it came to the polls and the ratings, I really was skeptical about them. And what I'm seeing is, I think that I still am, because I think that his popularity is a lot lower than the polls are saying. I don't even think it's at 30%, to be quite honest with you. So I want to do a reading on dealing with the chaos as the year ends, because death is still on its journey. It's still going right along there, and I would say, who knows, probably some towers could be, they could be in the mix. So at any rate, we're going to put it down and see how we deal with this, because Christmas is a kind of supposed to be the peaceful time. New Year's is woohoo party time. So that is, that's kind of chaos. It's a holiday that could be chaos in itself. If you've ever gone to Times Square on New Year's Eve, and I didn't, with all the years I lived in New York, I wasn't that crazy. Okay, so how we stand in this? Oh, interesting. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, which is, he's the one that moves. He's the one that moves slow and steady, winning the race. And although he's careful with his money, he's not really clinging to it. So I would say maybe people are, I think this may represent the fact that while people celebrate it more than I do, we're probably more careful about the gifts that they were buying, and perhaps maybe more concentrating. Well, of course, then it goes back to, they can thank this administration for not having the dollar go as far for the season as it did. But I always thought he was kind of contemplating and maybe thinking, before I go galloping off in the stores, do I really need all this crap that I buy every year? And it's going to end up in people's closets and all this sort of thing. So, okay, so leading up to this in the Before Tarot, we have, the Two of Cups in reverse. So basically what they're going to do is that these two people are meeting up, and they're trying to see what they have in common emotionally and see if there's a partnership. It's in reverse, so it's basically saying that that people may be a little bit standoffish and may, with everything uncertain, may not be are afraid to make certain commitments, or afraid to even start that. So this is all about people being kind of guarded and careful, which serves a practical purpose, but also perhaps to as a way of maybe staying out of it, trying to avoid chaos in their lives. So this is there's really nothing wrong with this as long as you don't carry it too far. I think this may be like, I understand, but don't get carried away with it. So after tarot is interesting. I've been waiting for this to come up. We've got the Tower in reverse, and this is basically what happens to the Tower, just breaking off in two. So with it being in reverse, it's saying we are building up to a big tower. It's still all of these stupid little things. Well, they're not so little. They're getting bigger and bigger. And what this is talking about at the end of the year is that since people haven't learned a lesson from 50 years ago about it's more about the cover-up, which reveals more stuff, ugliness, they're repeating, even amongst the chaos, they're repeating history. They haven't learned. So they're working their way up to the big tower that's probably going to happen in this year. So let's see. The energy of this is, Six of Wands in reverse. This is about the so-called winners of this election are really starting to lose. They are really starting to lose because people are fed up. Now, I'm sure there are a lot that are disappointed because they can't celebrate Christmas like they did a couple years ago. And they're seeing that this whole administration is a big loser. MAGA is losing. That's just one thing they can't get away from. So let's see. Underlying all of this we have, trying to balance the budget. So, well, I did see a lot of people, it's funny because I had to go to TJ Maxx to get, I don't know, shampoo and stuff. And I noticed that there were a lot of people there because that's where they're shopping. They're not going to the expensive stores. And boy, I could hardly make my way into the, with the toiletry section and the clearance thing. Boy, that aisle was really jammed. So people are holding on to their money to not add to the chaos, which their finances are probably, everybody's finances are in chaos. Queen of Wands. This is interesting because throughout all of these readings I've done over the past, I don't know, couple of years, this woman pops up. I think of her as the mystery woman who is going to play a very important part. I never saw her as Harris. I think Harris was basically the Queen of Swords, a lawyer and all this sort of thing. I've seen that there's there's a woman, and it's a collective woman waiting in the wings to inspire, to give us some inspiration. And maybe I'm getting a sense that maybe this heavy duty female energy is right under our nose. But everybody's so wrapped up in their own chaos that we're not seeing her yet. Oh, everybody's burdened, the big, heavy burden that people are carrying. So, in opposition of this, we have, the Five of Pentacles, which is the big fear of poverty and being left out in the cold while the oligarchs are thumping their Bibles in, their evangelical churches. and the families that are suffering. So that's a big deal. I would imagine probably at this point that a lot of them have awakened to the fact of, yeah, let's bring out those Epstein. I don't care. Bring out the Epstein file. Whatever's going to bring this whole thing down so we can start with someone who's really going to care about us, because, everybody is so wrapped up in the drama that there's nothing in this regime that's doing anything about this. And what I get a sense of is that people are starting to realize this. Okay, so on the conscious level with all of this is trying to maintain some balance, and it's kind of the blending of the emotional and the material worlds, which pretty much goes back to this. So everybody is they're conscious of the material worlds, but I get a sense of things shifting, that the spiritual is also playing in with this, which could be part of the shift thing that's coming up. Next year is really coming up fast. Subconscious. It's the emperor has no clothes. And the reason this may be the subconscious thing is that there's still some people that refuse to see the obvious. And this is my overall card for Trump, is the emperor in reverse. The double meaning is the tyrant, but also the emperor has no clothes. So it's like, I think people know deep down inside the emperor has no clothes. He's getting very, very weak. And he may yell and scream and want to conquer Canada and Greenland and Mexico, but he's playing from a point of weakness. But I think it's still kind of below the surface for a lot of people. So, okay, so in the past with this, before Christmas, we have the Nine of Pentacles. And to me, this is reassessing values. Like, maybe it isn't so great. I think Luigi probably pointed out, maybe it isn't so great to be a CEO, and that now they're starting to be, because they're so hated, they're starting to beef up their security, and here we have the money as the walls of their prison. So they're not so great after all. So I think this is starting to dawn on people. She's come up quite a bit before too. Okay. And it's also that maybe life isn't about buying a lot of expensive presents for people, and it's in a way that this holiday season has trapped us into that. So I think that maybe people, it goes back again to people reevaluating certain things. So, okay, so coming more in the present is it there is this split ever since the election, that people have been really cutting off ties, like with the MAGA crowd. And so that plays really, really big in the holiday season. So this is bringing the drama and the chaos of outside the holidays into people's dining rooms, and this sort of thing. So there is a lot of chaos in the celebration too. So that is not stopping. It's only going to get worse. And probably what this is saying, it's probably going, this feeling of resentment when he's gone, which it's coming coming up pretty soon, that these resentments will still they'll still linger on. So coming up in the immediate future, the holiday season, justice. Um, yeah, that's the after tarot. Okay, so justice. It almost looks like the Six of Pentacles, but Justice has had her day in this card, and it's these people. I guess it's the um, yes. Oh, I'm seeing this now. The two-tier justice system, which is the poor people getting screwed, the rich person, and and this is what's really coming out in the Epstein file. Rich people get away with the most grotesque, horrendous crimes. And since this is in reverse, this is part of the deep, dirty secrets of the high priestess in reverse, is that people are getting pretty fed up with it. So while we might have a little bit of a, good will to men and all this sort of thing, people are preparing for the resistance and to make things more just. So okay, so we've got that going on in the future. So I want to see, like, when this holiday season wraps up, what are we going to have with the chaos going on? Oh, okay. Two of Swords. So in this one, what this is saying is, if you can't make up your mind, we're going to have others doing it for you, and you need to take off the blindfold. So what this is saying is that you better do it yourself and better not have others do it for you, because it won't turn out so well. I would say that people are starting to wake up to the fact of, sure, we have to have good leaders and leadership, but they're only there to guide us. They're not going to save us. I think that's part of the big awakening, is that we can no longer afford the luxury of staying home from the polls, and that we've got to take off that blindfold and get more realistic and stop having others making these decisions. So as we emerge out of this holiday season, or getting towards the new year, I think people are going to have to really start to look at that. So let's see how we see. I can tell you, Europe does not see us in a great light, not with this latest stunt with Greenland. Okay, so how we see ourselves with this backdrop of the holidays and all this. I've never seen it so chaotic over Christmas like I do now. Okay, so how we see ourselves is time to stop crying about the past. It's time to move on. The question is, how do we do that? So we're seeing ourselves as, I'm seeing like a lot of regret about a lot of the way that a lot of people cast their votes. So they say we've got to be done with this and move on. Okay, how others see us? How do others see us? Okay. I think others are seeing us as being economically weak, with the tariffs, and unfortunately pulling the rest of the world down with them. And they're seeing us the corrupt. When I see Pentacles in reverse, I see different contexts of corruption. They're seeing us as one massively corrupt nation, and that's what we're going to have to be looking at, because this is what all of this, we have our own penguins and crates of octopus going on in our lives, like that movie. And it's interesting because everybody's going nuts while he's doing this Christmas program, but he is making himself oblivious to it, which is a big flaw of his character. We can't do that. We cannot do that because this is telling me it's going to take a long time. I mean, Kanks could just check out tomorrow, go to Saudi Arabia, keel over, whatever. But a whole new government could come in, which is not out of the realm of possibility. But it's going to take a lot of work to put this back together. We're going to need people like the John Kerrys and Hillary Clintons and the other people that were really good at being Secretary of State. Super duper diplomats. Okay, so pushing these aside, in conclusion, with all of this, we have, the Four of Pentacles in reverse. We're just going to have to let go of being stubborn and clinging to the old things. It's very interesting. I heard someone say that Mondami is taking the sting out of the word socialism. And I think the whole thing is that amidst all of the chaos, and probably combined with maybe getting more joy and saying Merry Christmas to people than buying and getting presents, that maybe what this is saying is that we will be forced to reevaluate our priorities. And I think that's what this is a furtherance of this card. We've really got to take control of this ourselves and let go of a lot of myths and a lot of fairy tales. So energetically we have the King of Swords. So yes, so this is going to be a very bright leader. This it signifies a lawyer. I'm thinking that this could be the Jack Smith card coming. He is coming out into the foreground a lot more. So this is listening to people like that. Now, not expecting him to save us because his hands were tied, but to say, no, he's got a very good message. So it's the thought of someone that, because he's telling it like it is. He's telling the truth. Is, listen to these truth tellers, and that means that we're going to have to let go of a lot of our values that don't work anymore, whether it's the economic values or a lot of the old emotional stuff. So I would say for my Sheridan Whiteside little Christmas message here is that I think what I got out today is like, since I don't do all that Christmas stuff anymore, I didn't feel the pressure. I mean, a lot of times by Christmas Eve when we, went over to my brother's in-laws for dinner, which was always a good time, but it was like, get the rest of the presents wrapped, or go to Trader Joe's and get the panettone and this and that, and just being told, like, when you don't have all of that stuff to worry about, then you can, Merry Christmas, and to the, cashier, to the guy by the Starbucks Christmas tree who he asked me to take his picture with his phone, and all of this little stuff that you enjoy more, and get the, take that, the chaos out of the holiday. But you also realize, okay, this stuff is not going away. And it's more about, like, there's not a lot we can do about it until we vote, until we get some, protests going. But this is a time to maybe, which is a winter solstice thing, is that looking inward and getting our own houses in order, which is going to be really important for this year coming up, because this is going to be the big year of resistance. Also, what this guy tells me too is that there's a place in Pittsburgh where I'll be doing readings. It's like a cafe kind of a thing. And they have this big sign, we do not support ICE. We're not going to cooperate with them. And somebody told me those are springing up all over Pittsburgh as they are in Chicago. So it's being smart. It's really being smart and not getting caught up in drama. And I think the protests are important because it shows the numbers. But this is and it's part of the temperance card. It's the balancing of doing that and but doing some smart things, like hotels are kicking them out and restaurants don't want them, and people are looking out for their neighbors, that sort of thing. And the holidays are about looking out, doing nice things for the neighbors. And maybe one thing is to protect them too. So I think the whole thing is like we deal with what we can control, and that we're taking a little time for some holiday cheer, but I'd say that we're regrouping too. So at any rate, that is I don't have the boys' choir. I don't have the penguins, but this is kind of my Sheridan Merry Christmas little talk. And so whatever you do, whether it's being with your family, or maybe what I might do is go to my old Jewish neighborhood, have a Chinese dinner, and go to the movies. So whatever you do, enjoy it and have a Merry Christmas. So I'll see you before New Year's. Bye.